Let's talk about Juvie, how you ended up in Juvie, the horrors of Juvie, and how you still maintain to basically keep your spirituality, keep your relationship with God. You know, that was a fight, right? During that time, and how you kind of took up for some of the
weaker guys. Yes. Yeah. So the first time I went to juvenile hall, I think it was in '83. No reason I remember that because a tornado went down Broadway. I don't know if you guys remember, a tornado went down Broadway, downtown Los Angeles. So some of the OGs they just stashed stuff at my mom's house in my basement. So when the police raided them, they raided my house too and took me to jail in juvenile hall. And I was scared to death, you know. And I heard a lot of stories about juvenile hall and the rapes that goes on there and all type of madness. So I went there just like a madman. I just had to, and I couldn't tell because these OGs, they would have got me. I seen guys that come home before I went to jail, they got beat up for telling them they marked as a rat and stuff. So when I went to juvenile hall, that was like a really scary moment for me at that time because I didn't know what to expect. I hear stories, but didn't know what to expect. And when I got there, it was all Crips. I think it was only like one blood, or maybe 1.5, you know, 1.5 blood there. So when I first got in there, where you from? I told them where I was from. I got jumped. I fought every day. I had to fight every day there, you know what I mean? And the thing about juvenile hall back then, for some reason, those kids thought it was tough to rape other kids. They wasn't there raping kids in juvenile hall back then. If you look right now, they got a big lawsuit going on about the kids was being raped by staff and other inmates. So you had to really protect yourself in there. And you had to be crazy. I'm telling you, even if you wasn't crazy, you better play crazy as hell. So I used to do a lot of crazy stuff. Like you said something to me, I'm fighting you first. I'm taking off on you first. So once a lot of the kids, especially the Bloods, once they seen my heart, someone start coming out more and they want to be Bloods now, even though they were scared. But I start building guys' character up in there, courage, you know what I mean? And the Crips, they were scared of me because I fight every day. Even the staff there, they knew I wasn't they know I'm gonna fight. So they let me do what I do because they know we was outnumbered, you know? So, you know, juvenile hall was very scary because the Crips it was like 10-1. You know, it was 10-1. So it was a hard time. And it like every day you wake up, it was like a battle, like, what's going to happen today? Am I going to make it through this day right here? Who I got to fight today? So in my game, we got our enemies are the 30s, the 40s, the schoolyards, the PBGs, the 60s, the West Boulevards, the gear gangs. So this how many different gangs I had to fight. Like, it was a time like, just like say, for instance, not to jump, like when I was in YA, you had to fight your enemies every day. So on Monday, I might fight the 30s. Tuesday, I got to fight the gear gangs. Wednesdays, the Playboy days. Every day, you know, we fight, you know. So it got to the point where I fought so much that they just left me alone. It's like, they didn't bother me anymore. So, but juvenile hall and Camp Rockies and Camp Marilomas and all the places I've been to, Silmar and Los Padrinos, East Lake was the worst, you know. It was hard. Like one time, this big guy, I almost said the name, I'm not. This big guy, he was bullying everybody. He came in my cell and I didn't have no weapon now. He was beating everybody up. So the only thing I had was a pencil. I broke a pencil in his neck. You know, and had him running down the hallway screaming. I got so much reputation for that, for this stabbing this big old dude, you know what I mean? So I built up a big reputation in juvenile hall not to mess with me. And all through the juvenile system. So by the time I got to prison, they were scared of me and probably tore up all the juvenile facilities. I tore that place up, you know. Romeo. But back then, the Bloods, the Crips say the word loke now. That was our word at first, because my name used to be Romeo Loke. But we spell L-O-K. But now the Crips use Lover Crip Loke. So, but we was the local guys back then, you know. But I was a menace. Used to be. Yeah, I went from 13 to 18. They actually, that was crazy. They actually only did, they gave me 90 days in the county camp. and my mama wouldn't come get me. They would know I was released. I take that back. The juvenile hall, the courts released me, and my mother wouldn't come get me. She said, he ain't been to school in years. Keep his ass. You know what I mean? So I was mad at her. So I would start fighting. I really got even worse. So I turned going home to they gave me a 90-day county camp program. I got to the county camp. I got kicked out that camp in like 2 weeks. I only lasted 2 weeks in that camp. Then they sent me to a Camp Rocky. It's like a lockdown camp. I tore that camp up. They kept me in the hole all the time, and they knew they couldn't control me, and there's nothing they did. I didn't care. They just felt sorry for me. Said, "We'll give you one more chance. Go back down to juvenile hall. We go to court." And that's when I caught the stabbing. When I stabbed the guy in the neck, I stabbed him in the neck, and they ended up sending me to YA. So I turned 90 days. I turned going home to 90 days, and 90 days to 5.5 years.
So basically, you were like 13.
Yes.
By the time you were done, you're 18.
Yeah, so it came up 18.
It's crazy off of that.
And only lasted not even 5 months before I was in prison.
So that's why this is very important, because now we're going to jump into what the scripted series will be about, which is about you leaving
juvenile,
after creating such a, well, like you say, you tore everywhere up.
Yeah.
But you created this album, so image. It was fake though.
Yeah.
You had to do it.
I was masquerading. Yeah.
It was a masquerade.
Yeah.
You did all that, not that you wanted to, but you had to protect yourself.
Right.
At least that's what you thought, right? So you tell us about your mom. They come in, they pick you up, and then they take you.
Okay.
They take you to the Inland Empire. Remember, you were in LA.
I already know where you're going with this. Yeah. I know.
You were in LA. Paint the picture like no one's ever heard of.
Right.
You're in LA. They pick you up from a place that got closed down because it was so bad.
Right.
And move you to the Inland Empire. So now she's in the suburbs. She's got a whole nother life, remarried, 5.5 years, and you are being introduced to that. I want you to talk about that, and then how you met the Bloods that fateful day at the gas station.
So my mom figured that when I was in jail, I called my brother, was my first cousin. He got killed when I was in jail. And my mom didn't want me to go back to Los Angeles. She didn't want to lose me to the Los Angeles streets. So she moved out to Rialto, California, in the Empire. She figured that she put me out there. There's no way in the world I would get in trouble out of this place. Back then, it was nothing but like mostly farmland, vineyards and farmland. So she brought me home, and I tried to be a good person. I told her I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna change my life, and this, that, and the other. And they bought me interview clothes. I'm going back and forth in the interview, trying to get a job all over the place. And one day after interview, I looked like a church boy, church clothes on. And I was at the gas station buying a beer, and I ran into some Bloods there. And they hit me up. I knew they were Bloods. I think I hit them up. I seen them, they were flamed up, and I asked them where they were from. They told me, I told them where I was from, and we exchanged numbers, and my sister didn't want me to be around. No one wanted me because they know how I am. They were like, no, you don't need to be around these guys. So I got bored, tired of looking for work, and tired of the job wasn't panning out. I called them up, and they came and got me, and I ended up becoming the worst nightmare because I ended up taking over all their stuff. They see how gangster I was, and they took me to the Glenwood. They took me to the Glenwoods in Rialto. I went out there and met the other Bloods that was out there. It was only like 3 or 4 of us. The whole place was full of Crips, and I just couldn't understand why these Crips and Bloods get along. I'm not from an era where we did that. So I ended up changing their whole infrastructure over there, and I started selling dope. Got back in the game because I was already a dope dealer as a kid. I knew more than these guys ever thought they knew as a kid. So I ended up taking over. I ended up became the leader because I was the craziest one. I started running the Crips off the block. I finally got a car. My car was the most wanted car in IE. They shot up all of them. I was so scared that at my mama house, they was coming to my mama house looking for me, the Crips, But I ended up taking over all that. My name got so big in IE as a youngster, that it was ringing back in LA. And all the other homies, he's out there, he's terrorizing out there. But I ended up, I was the one of the most wanted Bloods in the Inland Empire. It was 3 of us, and I'm the only one still alive. Yeah, they killed the other 2. They did. It's 4 of us. One got life in jail. But that's my mom. My mom was heartbroken because she tried to get me away from all this, and I came back out worse than I was when I was a youngster, you know. So house been shot at, car. I'm coming home with bullet holes in the car. My mom didn't want to go nowhere with me, you know. My sister started following my footsteps. She started gang banging. She became a blood. And her name was CK. That's for a girl. That's not good. So, you know, to have that name as a girl, you know, she was putting in work, you know what I mean? So, and I still blame myself. I take that back. I don't blame myself. She blamed me for how she is, but she banged off my reputation, not because I had her gang banging. She just used my name. I'm Romeo's sister, you know what I mean? And got people to fear her. Then she turned to a monster, but yeah, I terrorized the whole Inland Empire. The suburbia supposed to have been, you know.
So that's the irony. So your mom moves all the way out to Rialto thinking that this is going to change you, but you end up changing Rialto.
Yes, I changed Rialto. I really did.